This is Richard back at you with round 2 of Quentin Miles' 4L80Es. We've just got his first one tore down, which was a front lube. We're going to tear down his second one, which is a rear lube that's going in his blown Cadillac. So the first one wasn't too bad. We'll be able to put it back together with not a whole lot of damage. Let's see what this one looks like. So this one here does, it is missing a few things. It doesn't have the tranny connector here. It doesn't have the extended connector here that goes into the support. It does have the wiring harness connector. It is just knocked in. We do have our speed sensors. They're there. Now these both cores come from the same people, I believe he said. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for him too on this one. I'm going to try to be a little lighter on that trigger, on that impact. I just like to hit it and listen to the sound. I know it's kind of loud by my mic right there. IHOP was good this morning. Got a really nice speed sensor there with no metal connected to it, so that's kind of a good sign. Now he's thinking this one here has straight cut planets in it too. I believe he said this one come out of a box truck. So now this one possibly could. So I'm sure hoping so. Uh-oh. We had somebody abandon ship there for a minute.
Guess it didn't want to be in the video.
I guess it didn't.
Okay. Maybe we'll get the next one.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Looky there, guys. Now, I'm going to hold this down real quick, though. Let me show you something. Now, we don't know how this dent got in this pan or anything like that, but it doesn't look like it. It could have been driven a little bit with a dent in it. But see this circle right here, guys? See this little leg? This one's dented in. So the pan come up here and started cutting off the suction on the filter, if you see that right there. It looks like to me it was sucking just through here. Mm-hmm. Through here only. Mm-hmm. Not through here. It had it all plugged off. So just that little spot right there saved this tranny. Or it might have scorched it because we do have some burnt material right there. Any further, this thing would have been just toasted. So I don't know if it wasn't pulled. It could have been pulled out the floor jack, but this dent happened while the vehicle was running or something like that. So late model filter. Now we go back to our rear lube tube again, guys. You remember the other version? This tube went from here all the way up to here, like that. Now if you notice this, they plumbed it in back here, right off the manual valve. Okay, boom. So, like I said, that one there you don't see very often. This is a later model. It's got the late EPC pressure control solenoid, the PWM. Got your shift solenoids here. This one's going to be a really nice one for that Cadillac, looks like. Oops. I want to thank you guys again for these gloves. My old school slowly getting worked out of me. I'm starting to enjoy them. But boy, it was hard to make that step. Trent's been trying to get me to do it for a long time, and I finally did it. Kind of like now I can't touch anything without having them on. All these bolts are the same length here until you get to the pillow switch. Then they'll turn into the 8mm, and just about the same length, but the head size. So they put a smaller head so you can get a socket down in there to get that thing off without messing anything up. So, and we have our pillow switch. Now I'm kind of leaning almost that somebody's been into this unit before, because I don't think I've ever seen GM put rubber balls in these units. I've never seen them come out that way, so that tells me somebody's already been in there playing around, probably. Somebody can correct me, they can, but I've never seen GM put those balls in. And then here we go again. Let me get this gasket off here. If you notice here, yeah, it doesn't have that piston like I was showing you. If you notice, this one just has this that goes in there, and then this one don't have it at all. Has a hole for it. This won't fit in there. Okay. I say, Trent's been around for a long time, and there's still things that he hasn't seen that comes through the door. So, pretty crazy. No wear on the plate, anything like that. This plate is actually an aftermarket plate. It don't even look like a GM plate, unless it's a brand new. Hard to say. Doesn't have a shift kit in the valve body or anything like that. There's a difference here in this servo right here too. The earlier one had a cup over it and stuff, so there's a little bit difference there. Now if you notice, this here too is different here. Kind of piled it up where I can't get to it. Excuse me. If you notice, the cover and the backing's different too. On your reverse servo that applies it. Will they interchange? I've never tried it. Possibly. I would have to air check my band travel, do a bunch of things like that before I verify that. So. Now this one here just has a stock overdrive bolt, where the other one had a hardened black aftermarket bolt. This has got an aluminum bolt. Now this will have a lot better anchor for the overdrive housing, and that's probably why they went to a softer bolt. I really don't understand that, but if you notice, we have one metal check ball right here, and then all the others are the plastic ones.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. I say little things like that. I'll just pour them out. Tells you that somebody's been in it. Thanks again for this scraper, guys. It really works good on our tables.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yes, it works really good. Okay. Let's see, all these pump bolts got O-rings on them. Even though you replace the O-ring, always put a little bit of silicone around there. That way you don't ever have a leak anytime. Get my lockup O-ring off my input shaft here, and that's why it come out with my Planet stuff. Well, let me tell you guys, my surgery was pretty good. I'm feeling a lot better, got a lot of strength back. I'm excited there. Okay. Now you remember this is a rear lube transmission right here, so the lube circuit's totally different. Pump's totally different. If you come in here, I was talking about in my earlier video, that little groove right here across the pump tells you that it's a rear lube pump. Now they do make a retrofit pump now. They'll take them and rebuild them and do some type of crazy stuff to them, and make it where you can put a little plug in here and put it in either or transmission. Because these pumps now, about all the time, you can only get them and rebuild them. That's it. There's no new of nothing. So, but this pump still looks really nice. But you can see the size of that gear, how much pump pressure this whole pump can make if something happens and fails to the electronics or anything like that. I mean, it just makes massive amount of pump pressure. Now we are seeing some wear here though. This thing's going to have a body. I don't feel the lip, but I see enough wear that when we bump the pressure up on this thing, that the life expectancy of this pump would go down faster than a good pump. So it's going to have a really nice pump body put in this thing. Because this car, I believe, is 1,200 horsepower right now, but he's going for more. So they say 1,200 horsepower, but then they got another 800 on the scramble button. You know what I mean? I do. So it's the only way we can catch up with these or stay up with these guys. Same way. Got your forward sealing rings right here. Now this will be a billet shaft here we'll be putting back in here. All high pressure rings. And then here we go to our small sprag assembly again that we were showing you earlier. The difference in that stuff. That's the way GM did that is unbelievable. But kind of put them together. You can kind of look at that right there. Get this clutch out of here. Engine brake clutch does look nice. But you can see the difference in these two sprags. You can see the difference in the size here. I can put this on, it'll just fall to the bottom. Boop. Don't even work. Okay. This one here, come on. There, right here. Turns this way, will not turn back. See? Now this one will not fit on there at all, but still, this is. Okay. But you'd think that it stayed with that big old roller clutch. But they change them up all the time. Smaller race, smaller sprag. Same clutches, same steels, stuff like that. So didn't change up much there. But if you come in here, look how they anchored this drum. Where they used the upper plate for the clutch, the backing plate, to keep it from rocking. See? Well, that other one used the steel too, but it just used the aluminum part of the case. It didn't have a pin there. Mm-hmm. They seen an issue probably with it wearing in the case, and they decided to put that pin in there and do it that way. So same amount of clutches in here, same clutches too, same steels. The only thing that's going to be different is the plate, the backing plate. Now they did update some of these steels to have holes in them to get the oil off the clutch, but still the same mount. So and we have our forward drum here. Same thing, you want to look for wear here. Any place that these sealing rings can run. If you got wear here, get rid of this drum because you will lose forward clutch. This bushing right here wears, causes the shaft to rub the drum. So see if we got a good one. Got a nice ring to it, nice hardened hub. We don't have to buy another one of those. We do have a nice forward clutches and stuff here, but if you notice here, we have a bonded piston. This one here, we have an aluminum piston. These are prone for cracking. If I could put a bonded one in here, I would. As long as it's a new bonded one. But see how the difference in the two pistons. So it's nice to have two of them tore down like this together. You can explain it a lot better on how these things work. Now this is your third gear clutch. High reverse clutch is what I call it. Comes on in reverse and third. So, and of course here, our third gear clutch is burned up. Now could that bend because of the filter was smashed against the pan? You betcha. That could be it real easy. You starve this tranny at the filter part of it with that big old pump, the tranny's doomed. And I mean, you restricted it so bad. That's why a floor jack, putting them in with a floor jack is terrible. Because you can go physically buy a small tranny jack that'll go under a vehicle if you can get it up high enough. I built so many of these at home on the ground when I was young. I've tried everything in the world to make it easier on me. I had Trent fetching me tools, bringing me sockets, starting the bell housing bolts while I'm holding the tranny up in the back of on the back of the motor.
And that's before I can even remember that.
Yeah, but he got good at knowing what my tools were.
That's funny.
Now we do have 4 clutches here. Different wave setup. If you look here, we have a 4 clutch here. They use the steel as the wave. Where here, they add a wave, a little thin one. These are all flat. See? So this one here will still get this wave in this tranny, even though he's making that kind of power, because I can still make this tranny hit so hard in second gear with this wave in there, but this wave still cushions the hit on this sprag assembly here. So taking a wave out in second gear on these ain't a good idea. I mean, because this tranny is one that you can, you can do overkill really, really easy on this thing. People don't realize you can build a tranny to break its own self.
And then too, you know, they really don't realize what kind of pressures they operate at. I mean, they operate in the hundreds.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we'll run this tranny here at max pressure, probably close to 200 pounds. But this tranny is capable of making 600. You know, so that's where you got to be careful too. So we're going to look at this drum. It does show that it has a good sprag assembly. It's already got the big sprag in it, which is good. But let's look at this race and keep our fingers crossed where this sprag runs. This drum is good. So we're going to look at this really close and look for any chatter marks, anything like that. Looks really nice. Scotch Brite that thing up, guys. Down in here where the rings go, hit that with Scotch Brite. New bonded piston, new sprag. We got our drum back. There we go. Same way here. Look here for any chattering or anything like that. Don't see anything. Scotch Brite that up really nice. Okay. Let's get our support out. Now this already does have a special case bushing in it, like I was showing you in my early video, but they didn't modify it. Or I like to use that bushing, but I modify it where I can put a roller bearing in there. But if you use the stock, or if you use the bearing that I use, it won't fit over that bushing. You have to cut this edge down right here, and then the bearing will fit over that. So if you just put that in there, it won't work. So what they did is they put the bushing in there and then used this factory washer assembly, which we're going to get rid of. So there's a little bit of work you got to do to that bushing. Now it has the late model center support bushing. It has this style here. It does not have this style. This is the earlier style. You look here, you can see the little tail. You can see how they got the hole off a little bit in that, but they do that just so if you don't put it in perfectly straight, you know, if it's turned a little bit, you'll still hit it. See? So always replace these bushings. There's a lot of wear on this bushing because it supports your third gear drum. So you always want to replace that too. Now let me get into here. These are those bushings I was telling you about that this tranny loops from the rear to the front through the bushings. If you put the wrong bushing in here, like that one has that solid bushing, you just stopped your lubrication oil from going forward. So then everything is going to cook in front of that bushing. So all these shafts on this unit here is going to be solid. Let me look here since I'm right here to verify straight cut planets, and it does not have straight cut planets in it. That's what I'm telling you guys. Straight cut planets in these are very rare. Most of the time I see a straight cut planet, it's going to be in a 400 behind a motorhome or something like that. And then we can put them in there if we can get the ring on there for the speed sensor. If not, we can't even put them in there. So I've been doing it a long time. If you tell me you got straight cut planets, I'm kind of going, you're going to have to prove it to me. So, but we do got wear on this sun gear. You can just see a lot of footprint on it, stuff like that. Probably, like you said, a heavy vehicle, box truck, something like that. But it just the weight, GVW or whatever on it wasn't enough to require straight cut planets. Same way here, you want to look at this washer right here and see if it's been starting to get cut. But still, look at these pins and see if they're starting to stick out. If they're sticking out, you can tap them back in a little bit and then come back here on this side and TIG weld them. Okay, I mean we do that. We TIG weld every one, so that way we know it doesn't walk. And then we upgrade this to a metal washer, brass washer, if you want to say. Now I noticed here too, we've got some pin walkage in our rear planet. You can see here this pin is starting to really push in on this here. Mm-hmm. Now if you notice here too, the earlier tab, the washer has 4 tabs on it that holds it in the planet. This one here only has 2. They will not interchange. I mean, if you grind this one off, it'll fit in there, but you can put a metal washer in here. But what we do is we'll come in here and grind this tab off right here, and then this metal washer will set right down in there. But you got to grind the tabs off, and we do it in every one. This plastic is history in our units. So, but if this has got a pin moving, I believe, I think it's this one of these two right here. I can't tell. I ain't got my glasses on, but these pins walk too, and we'll go in here and TIG weld these pins also. It's very rare that these walk though. It's usually this one here. Like this. So you just want to, these pins here, you can take them, knock them this way, and then you can come in here and TIG them right here. That way they don't move. Now also, it goes back to our lubrication on our front to rear lubes type stuff. If you notice, this one here only has 2 notches in it. This is the front lube. This has 4 notches in it. That's a rear lube. That's because your lubrication oil goes through them grooves. If you notice here, this shaft is solid. If you notice the earlier design I showed you is hollow, because the oil comes through here and lubricates. Where this one here lubricates through the support and then through all the bushings and then comes out. Now, if you put just like this bearing here, you see them holes right there? This is a different bearing compared to this bearing on this one here. If you notice, there's no holes in the race down here. So if you put this style in here, or even put that bearing, this bearing in here, you just stopped your lubrication oil because you plugged up all them holes. There's a lot to these trannies, guys. When you start swapping parts and stuff like that, they changed them up so much in the lubricating circuit only where it'll bite you. So we don't have no straight cut planets in any of these, which to me is a good deal because like I said, parts for these I can get a lot easier, where the straight cut planets, they're going to want a dime, or a lot of money, more than a dime. But they're a dime and a dozen hard to find, put it that way. Band has a little bit of wear, but everything's going to be replaced in this unit. All the Allison clutches, bushings, pump gears. Going to put a really nice kit in it and stuff, and even modify the kit that we get. So it's going to be a really nice unit for him when we get it done. So y'all don't forget to subscribe. We've got to get that up there really high, guys. We need to get a little bit more notice, it seems like. So don't forget to push that subscribe button. Tell all your kids to watch our videos that love cars. So y'all stay tuned. Have a great day.